Welcome to the We Shine Well podcast, where I have real conversations with thought leaders in wellness to help you live your most vibrant, aligned, and purposeful life. I'm your host, Zoe Kelsey, founder of We Shine Well. Here, we share honest stories, gems of wisdom, and insight to spark clarity and guide your next right step, so you can shine brighter from the inside out. Now let's dive in. This conversation was so fun and energizing. It was a reminder to have more play, fun, and do what you love with the ones you love. I'm joined by Nicole Sciacca, a movement leader, mobility specialist, former professional dancer, and the creator of Sweat and Stillness. Nicole brings a powerful blend of biomechanics, mindset, faith, and joy to her work. And this conversation will truly shift how you think about movement, strength, and your future self. Let's dive in. Hi, Nicole. I am so excited to have you on the podcast today. You just have the most vibrant energy. I feel like when we hopped on before this, I was just like, oh my God, I just feel like I needed this dose of just like real fun energy today.
Oh my God, I feel so flattered. Thanks for seeing me.
Of course. That's the only way to see you.
Yeah. No, I know. It's a little chaotic, but it evens out over the course of a conversation, hopefully.
Well, I love it. We're here for all of it, and we need more of this in our lives. I know I do, at least. So take us back to your journey. So you've been a professional dancer. You've been into movement for years. How has your relationship with your body and movement changed over time?
Yeah, these are great questions. Wow, it's a long story, but we're going to make this as tight as possible. I was born and raised in, you say that now. I was born and raised in Alabama, and I started dancing at the age of 2. And I remember specifically the minute I put on a pair of pink tights, I was like, well, this is who I am now. This is my life's blood and my cathartic work, and Hollywood will need me at some point. And this is who I am. This is Nicole. My mom and dad fully embraced it and just let me run wild and perform for their dinner parties and everything that you can imagine along the way. But I was committed from a really young age. And I don't know how to say this. I was probably the strongest dancer at my studio, but it was also largely because it was my dream and my passion. I was talented, but I was hyper disciplined. Like, I knew that Solid Gold was a TV show and I needed to be on it. You're probably too young to even know what Solid Gold is. Do you know what Solid Gold is?
No, I don't.
Oh, no. Okay, that's fine.
What is it? For people who might not know.
You're going to Google it later. It was like a variety show that had like 5 or 6 dancers, one of which was Helene Phillips, who was my mentor when I lived out in LA. And these dancers were like the sexiest, coolest, talented. And you didn't see dancers on TV. You didn't see, women in leotards performing and dancing, really, truly exemplifying the craft. So the minute I saw that, I was like, oh, whatever that is, that's me. I don't know what that is, but that's going to be me. Needless to say, I was devoted and dedicated, and eventually moved out to Los Angeles like 21 years old. And I was dancing and a little bit of acting, doing that whole thing really with the most excitement and fear. If you can compile these things together, that's what I would feel on a daily basis. There was this undercurrent of anxiety because the dance industry is so hyper focused on your physicality, right? The way you look meant everything. And it was the early 2000s and I was a white woman, and that was when things were starting to shift and there was more culture all around, but I was like, oh my gosh, am I ethnic enough to book this job? Probably not. It was a really confusing time. So not only are you hyper aware of your body, you've got a craft that is unique and expressive and individualized to you, right? Because every dancer, that's the beauty of dance, is that no one dances the exact same. So that's a pro and a con, right? Because you need to blend in with the artists, but at the same time, you need to stand out in an audition. So there was just so many things going on, and a lot of that undercurrent was never processed for me. So I just kind of lived at this I would say I lived in a state of fight or flight for many years.
Mhm.
Compound that with atrocious, irresponsible double workouts, 5 hours a day of, ballet class, jazz class, back to hip hop, and then you're gonna go assist this choreographer, and then you're gonna do an 11:30 PM audition for Usher. Like,
Oh my
it was
god.
it was chaos. And my body at 24, I think I was 24, 25, completely, can I swear on this?
Yeah.
Completely shit the bed. So I was in an audition
Mhm.
I was in a rehearsal for a free job. So just get this. I
Yeah.
had worked all day long, danced all day long. I was doing a free job for a choreographer I didn't know who wanted to
Mhm.
have her rehearsal for this free job at midnight.
What?
That's correct. So I'm at some studio with a bunch of dancers I don't know doing this insane choreography. And I remember I bent over doing the most basic thing and I felt my spine go pop, 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 pop. And it took all the breath out of me and I just collapsed to the ground and I was like, this is real bad. This is like bad, bad, bad. And I couldn't get up and I had to crawl to the mirror. And again, don't know anybody. So they're like, oh, who's this girl that just shows up and basically herniates her discs in real time? So I
Oh.
had herniated like L4, L5, S1. And then a week later, I ruptured L4, L5, S1. So I was on bed rest for a month. I lost all feeling in my right leg. My right foot the neuropathy was so serious. Like, I remember right after I ruptured those discs, I was in bed and this is so creepy. I watched every muscle in my right leg Charlie horse and then go numb from the ankle up to my hip. Like, I
Oh
saw my
my god.
calf, I saw my quad, I saw my hamstring, I saw my butt cheek. It was like it was moving up the chain and it was the gnarliest thing I'd ever witnessed. And that's when I knew.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, we're in a whole new world now. So shortly after that, I saw an orthopedic surgeon and he's like, hey, I have some news for you. I said, tell me. He's like, you have the spine of an elderly, fragile 55-year-old man, and this is going to happen
Mm.
again. And I said, I remember I was so angry. So I was like, how can you in your white coat look me in the eyes and say that? That's when I realized the power that I don't want to say doctors in general, but the people that we put on pedestals, whomever they may be, the power of
Mhm.
words. Because I
Mhm.
remember I can see it clear as day sitting on his table and him looking me in the eyes and be like, this is going to happen again. And I remember thinking, you don't know me. It
Mhm.
absolutely will not happen again.
Yeah.
And from that point forward, I dove headfirst into yoga and strength training and cycling and network spinal analysis and acupuncture and physical therapy. And it changed my entire view of movement.
Mhm.
And then, I mean, shortly after all that, I mean, not shortly, it was another journey, another lifetime. But I realized that I didn't have to be in pain to do what
Mm.
I loved. And I had
Mhm.
associated the anxiety, living in fight or flight, and the physical pain with doing my passion, with to dance, to be able to express who I was. So
Mhm.
there was a lot of walls coming down after that injury, but
Mhm.
thankfully, because it led me to the career that I'm in now. So yay, back pain.
Oh my god. Did you have any spinal issues before all of that happened?
Oh, I did. I actually I failed to mention, I would fly out to Los Angeles every summer from the age of 14 until 21 to train
Mhm.
with choreographers and, dance teachers out here,
Yeah.
and I had met Helene
Mhm.
Phillips from Solid Gold, because I
Yep.
was so obsessed, and
Uh-huh.
she's like, "You need to go see my acupuncturist," because I kept explaining that my back would go into spasm.
Mm.
So I took her advice, and at 14, I went and had a session with Dr. Watanabe in Laurel
Mhm.
Canyon in
Mhm.
Hollywood, and he was kind of like a celebrity, acupuncturist. He had a lot of famous clients at the time, and I remember thinking, "This guy's gonna heal me."
Mm.
And he did in a way. It wasn't it wasn't a total full body healing in the sense that you might think going into an appointment like that, but
Mhm.
again, it was like a seed was planted about the nature of healing
Mhm.
and how
Yeah.
slowing down and how different modalities have viability. Like you can't just keep going to take the Aleve and keep icing it thinking that's going to heal it. There are so many other modalities that are beneficial. And that was my first introduction to acupuncture. And that just changed everything.
Well, and it sounded like you were literally laid flat out to be like, this is not going to be your life anymore. Like, it's time to choose a new path.
Yeah.
And, like, you are not listening to your body. So your body is going to tell you, God, the universe is going to tell you, like, or give you this aha, be like, okay, what's next? What was
Yeah.
next?
What was next? I laughed telling this because the orthopedic's like, you should try yoga. And I was like, oh, not yoga. I'm like, I'm not going to go into a room and stand on a rubber mat and not be able to move freely and be told what to do. And he's like, well, you should just try it. I heard it's good for back pain. I was like, whatever. So I dove headfirst into yoga, but don't worry, the masochistic kind. Like I went straight into Ashtanga. I went straight into like a 2-hour heated class with like burpees in it. I was like, oh yeah, this feels right. More pain. I get to move my body and still be in pain. But somewhere, and then I don't know, it was probably 2 or 3 years. I was acting a fool showing up to those kind of yoga classes. I wound up in I wound up in a Kundalini class. And I remember thinking, oh, this is yoga. And that pace, the breath work, the nuance, the spiritual aspect was all exactly what I was seeking. And it was so profoundly uncomfortable for me. That's when I knew that's what I needed to, that was my next chapter, so to speak. Like I had to explore that aspect of quote unquote yoga.
Yeah.
So I got my teacher certification. A few years after that, I got my 300 hour. And then I opened a studio on Abbot Kinney called Hustle and Flow. And it was a yoga and cycling studio. Still a little, in retrospect, chaotic in the sense that it was fitness, yoga fitness.
Yeah.
But that again planted another seed about community. And I had no idea how powerful that community was going to be in my healing. And then in the ripple it had in people's lives. Like people still will come to me today and be like, I have my Hustle and Flow towel. I'm like, are you, sir, ma'am, sure. That should be moldy by now. Like, I don't know why you still have that. Like, is that safe? I don't want to put that on your face. But like people will still come up to me like, I love it. It was the best spin class. It was the best community. And it really truly was because it was born out of my love of movement as a healing modality. So, oh God, it was just such a good time.
I
Yeah.
mean, it sounds like in everything that you do, it's like you are betting on yourself and you're in your own journey to help like light other people up to ignite the fire that's already within them. They just have to come to you to already see that.
Oh my God, that gave me chills. That's exactly what that's exactly what I would hope. Oh my God, thanks for seeing me. Again, seriously, that's so beautiful. That would be my hope and my mission is, and like we spoke about briefly before, I think the women that come to me they're seekers by nature, but whatever life chapter they're in, whether it's injury, motherhood, small children, divorce, death, aging parents, moving, whatever that massive chapter, and it could be all of those things, God forbid. They just have abandoned themselves. And it's my deepest pleasure. It is my deepest joy to remind women that you have wisdom in I don't even know. What's the word I'm looking for? You have depth of wisdom that has to be excavated, and you have to not abandon yourself in order to remember that.
It's all within us. We just have to remember it sometimes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you need to be in the right company for that too. Like you need to feel safe. You need to be at your wit's end. I think that is that's another. Some of us will tolerate a lot of shit sandwiches before we actually say, this doesn't taste so good anymore. I'm going to set this down.
Yes. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
too real.
Yeah.
Well, and it
Mm.
seems like I also want to like unpack this because it seems like there are three kind of buckets too of like there's movement, you talk about movement, metabolizing emotion, the power of stillness, and like community. So like
Yeah.
what do you mean by movement metabolizes emotion?
Yeah. Um, I love this question. This is another through line of what I do and what I offer. You know my story that I lost my partner Matt in 2023, and then I lost my ex-husband, my child's father, in 2024. But that was 10 months apart, so it wasn't even a full year, having lost both of those men.
Yeah.
Really, truly, the only two men that I loved and was loved in return in a healthy-ish way.
Mhm.
One of them's kind of questionable, but
Yeah.
I've got a beautiful son out of it, so there's no regrets there.
Mhm.
Um, the
First of all,
level.
that's hard.
Oh,
That
girl.
that is that much loss in that period of time while you're, like, also raising a son and, like, metabolizing your own emotions, and life is
Yeah,
a freaking journey. So
yeah.
thank you for sharing too.
Oh my gosh. I talk about this all the time, and people are really interesting. They're very cautious about bringing it up, but I will just overshare at any point. I have no problem talking about this because it's the subtext that was never spoken out loud for me. I was
Mhm.
super, and literally up until the day that Matt died, I was hyper fixated on not wanting to deal with death. I didn't want my parents to die. I didn't want to think
Mhm.
about anybody I know close to me dying. I was not comfortable with it whatsoever. And to get back to your initial question, you have to metabolize emotion. We all know
Mhm.
that what you hold on inside that doesn't, if it's not reflected upon and you don't address it, becomes dis-ease. That's what it is, dis-ease.
Mhm.
And being able to feel whatever it is, anger, resentment, grief, devastation, excitement, joy, gratitude, all of those things are processable by way
Mhm.
of movement. And
Mhm.
you don't even have to understand it. You don't have to look at it from a scientific perspective. You just need to know that your body has a system and it knows what to do. So that's
Mhm.
why I think when these women are coming to me at these different life chapters and it's a fork in the road, I'm like, just move your body. Don't overthink it. We're going to do squats today. We're going to dance freely like a little banshee in your living room. We're going to maybe do a
Mhm.
little yoga. We're going to get still. We're going to breathe. We're going to move the body so that you don't have to be, again, obsessive and overthinking to the point where you can't get past yourself.
Mhm.
We become very comfortable ruminating on things versus just allowing them to process out.
Mhm.
That's why I love sweat. I love sweat because it's a physical manifestation of a release. And
Mhm.
tears too. Oh my gosh. I used to be so
Yeah.
scared of crying. And then everybody
Mhm.
died. And I was like, great. So now we just cry. I cry all the time. It's freaking
Mhm.
awesome.
I mean, it's like so powerful in the mind body connection too. We think we're just gonna like think our way out of
Oh
things,
yeah.
but it's
I
like,
love that.
what about feelings and like, what is about everything that's stored in our bodies? Like, it has to come out somehow.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know I don't know too much about internal family systems, but I know that that's addressed a lot in IFS, which is so cool because and the book, The Body Keeps the Score. So many
Yep.
people have read that. The truth is it does. Your body
Mhm.
is a freaking miracle. The fact that you're
Mhm.
even alive is a miracle. The fact that you
Mhm.
have those eyes and that little nose and those ears, like you have to give it credit and understand that it does more than just go right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot.
Mhm. Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, do your thing. Heal me up.
Do you feel like experiencing that much of loss has helped you hold mortality closer in the
Mhm.
way to how you live?
Such a good question. I completely I view mortality completely differently.
Mhm.
To
How
me,
so?
death is not the end by any means. It's literally like making a right turn down a hallway. Like you either are going down the hallway, living your life in the 3D, which I am, you are, and
Mhm.
then death happens and you make a right turn and you go into the bathroom. And now you're
Mhm.
in this room, but I can't see you per se in the same way because you're no longer in the hallway. And when I look at it like that, like it's it's space within a home.
Mhm.
the universe being your home, the metaphysical being your home. God doesn't make mistakes. And to
Mhm.
me, that's like the biggest exhale. That's the biggest
Mhm.
relief. I
Yeah.
don't have to rack my brain about why Matt died at 48 years old. That's not my job. I
Mhm.
know, and I've had so many interactions with mediums, specifically Laura Lynn Jackson, who's super popular.
Mhm. Yeah.
She changed my life. She
Mhm.
absolutely changed my life. We're in her book, her guided book. I don't know if you know that. Chapter 22 is
Oh
all
my gosh.
story. Yeah. It's
Mhm.
um, but she allowed me to hold that belief, and she
Mhm.
reflected that to me so effortlessly that it was just like a reality shift. I was like, oh,
Mhm.
so Nicole, prior to Matt's death, I would have assumed that this was the end. I'm not going to see him again. It's over. What does it all mean? But after that experience with her and just understanding the nature of death from a lived experience, I realized that he's still here. He's here right now. He's
Mhm.
everywhere. He's in this glass of water. He's in the airwaves that we're working with. Like he's everywhere, and he's just made the right turn. I'm
Mhm.
still in the hallway, and
Yeah.
it's nothing to be scared of. It's just a different language now. I have a different level of communication with him than I did
Mhm.
while he was Earthside, and it's
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah. And how has that shifted how you live?
Mm. Oh, I don't give two shits about anything anymore. Now I just say what needs to be said. I will have the hard conversations. I'll say the thing out loud. I will absolutely go to dinner with you. I will absolutely make your event that's on my calendar that I said that I'm going to try to make.
Yay.
I just live more full out. And I
Mhm.
was doing a pretty good job prior,
Mhm.
but this is a different kind of zest for life. I
Mhm.
appreciate everything more. Like I will be so worked up over the reflection of sunlight on a palm tree. It's obnoxious. Like,
Mm.
look at it. Just look at it. Even my son will be like, "You're killing me." And I'll be like, "No, but do you see it? Do you see it sparkle?" He's like, "Mom, please God, please stop." I was like, "No, just showing you the beauty."
Oh my gosh. Well, you truly just have like a zest for life and the energy that you bring. And I feel like energy is the biggest, I mean, it's the biggest compliment, like personally, you can give or receive too. Because it's
Oh
like
yeah.
your energy dictates, like, how can you fully see somebody or where are they dimming you from letting them in?
Oh, so well said. I love that. I do. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I also think the women that find me are, they recognize whatever all this, I use the word chaotic, but it just feels right. They recognize this chaotic vibrancy within me in
Mm-hmm.
themselves. They know that it's within themselves. And it's like, that is where I was happy, or that's where I want to get back to, or that's the feeling that I want to experience on a daily basis. And so I think that's largely why I attract the women that I do, because they remember, they see it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What if it's not chaotic? What if it's just vibrant in itself? I mean, look at the sun. You can't see everything going every which way.
That's so great. That's such a great point. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
solar flare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like a little,
There you are.
just solar flaring around Los Angeles as one does.
Who's that buzzing around? Oh, it's Nicole.
Nicole, she's fine. She'll tone it down in a minute.
Oh my gosh. But that's but you don't need to tone it down. It's
No.
like that is who you are. That is life. That's not like dimming your light to be something else. That's like
Right?
living out who you're truly meant to be, not conforming to anybody else that you feel like you should or could be doing something for,
Yeah.
too.
That's so good. That's so true.
Mhm.
I haven't done a very good job of dimming my light. So that is, I'm usually this, whatever descriptive word you want to use. However, I have noticed when I'm in a state of elevation, when I'm being challenged and I'm being asked to grow a little bit, that's when I
Mhm.
find myself dimming.
Mm,
And it's kind of, I want to differentiate between like introspection and dimming your light, because
yeah.
even if you are an extrovert, I would consider myself an ambivert. Like I am super
Mhm.
extroverted, but I have to hermit down.
Yep.
Like my human design is a 2-4. Like I'm going to be on a
Mm,
stage and then I'm going to go into a cave after that.
Uh-huh.
Stage and cave.
Are you a manifest generator?
No, I'm just a generator, but
Oh, okay. Because you have your hand in a lot of things.
yeah, I do. I sure do. Um, but I think when the challenges arise, what I notice about myself is I am willing to dim, and it's not a bad thing. It's more introspective, reflective, like, how
Mhm.
do I want to show up in this time? I really learned that when Matt passed away, because the
Mhm.
month after he died, I had never, obviously, losing the love of your life is horrific.
Yeah.
Telling that to your child is doubly horrific. Um, and then moving through the day to day with that reality when it's bifurcated like that. Like, I was living one life on September 15th and I was living an entirely different life on September 16th. And
Mhm.
that next month, moving into October, I had to go inward. And it was the first time where I wasn't, because my business is, this is a lot of my business. There's a lot of
Mhm.
talking and action and face-to-face interaction.
Yeah.
And that was absolutely not possible. I could
Mhm.
barely hold conversations with people. I remember I was in a conversation with my mom and
Mhm.
she's telling me a story about something. It was shortly after Matt died and I'm just crying and she's just letting me
Mhm.
cry and I'm crying and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, tears are just rolling down my face. And she's like, yeah, just let it out. Just, it's fine. It's fine. And she was so able to, she was allowing me to feel those feelings in the moment where I didn't feel the need to have to perform that. It was just happening in real time. So
Mm.
there was a level of introspection even in that moment where if I hadn't had community and the right people around me during that grieving process, I
Mhm.
don't know that I would have come out of it the way that I have.
Mhm. It's so interesting because connecting the dots, it's like you entered into a career that was so performative, and where you are today is not at all. It's who you are.
Yeah. Ah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's so true. And I am very grateful. I have to bring it back to dancing because
Yeah.
dancing asked, I remember there was a time I was probably like 15 years old and we were in dance class and our teacher at the time was an LA dancer who had moved to Birmingham, Alabama. So she
Mhm.
was very familiar with professional dance. She was very familiar with what we needed to grow. And
Mhm.
she would consistently ask us to do the hardest things. And one time we had to like freestyle across the floor alone by ourselves, like
Mhm.
make up whatever we were feeling to whatever the song was. And I'll never forget by the time I got to the end of the floor, I was like, I feel like a different person. It was very visceral. It was so real, but I
Mhm.
just got to be free and I
Mhm.
was celebrated for it. And
Mhm.
it again was a seed in my mind. I'm like, the more people can be free and be celebrated for that, who knows who they are underneath all this programming, underneath all this conditioning. But whenever
Mhm.
you have the space to hold that for someone, it's a gift you don't even realize maybe for a year or 2 years later or 3 years later.
Mhm.
It's just so powerful.
If you know me, you know I'm matcha obsessed, and I'm also always that person with multiple drinks in hand at all times. Lately, my morning looks like this. I have a big cup of water with Now's hibiscus tea infused in it, plus their Hydrate tablets for an easy electrolyte boost. And then in my other hand, of course, is my matcha. I've been making it with Now's organic matcha with a few drops of their vanilla monk fruit drops and homemade nut milk using a blend of their almonds, cashews, and macadamia nuts. It's honestly my favorite little ritual. To habit stack, I'll usually add a scoop of creatine for that extra support for energy and enjoy a couple of their vitamin C gummies as an easy way to support my immune system. What I love about Now is that everything fits so seamlessly into my routine. It's simple, it's high quality, and it actually supports how I want to feel day to day. They perform over 31,000 quality tests every month, so you know what you're getting is clean, effective, and trustworthy. If you want to upgrade your own daily rituals, you can explore all their products at nowfoods.com and use code WeShine for 20% off throughout the end of the year. This statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Yeah. How do you guide people to be more free in whatever that means for them through whether it's like through movement, this like these periods of like stillness and introspection and like community.
Yeah. I think it really depends on the person. When I'm leading my monthly groups, which happen typically every month, there's a 30-day window, and we do about 14 to 15 workouts within 30 days. Every class begins with mobility work, so we're building the foundation. I'm having people feel an individual joint, which this sounds like fitnessy, but it's not, because
Mhm.
it's proprioception. It's, where is my head and neck in space? Where is my
Mhm.
wrist in space? If I roll my wrist, does it hurt? Why is my wrist hurt? Oh, because I've been typing for 8 hours and I haven't taken a break. It's literally connecting the dots, like a very simple math problem, right?
Mhm.
And that's how we begin. Then we're doing whatever sort of work we're doing, strength training, yoga. And then at the end, I make them dance. I make them
Mm.
freestyle dance.
Oh.
My favorite story, oh my God. I have this one woman who was like, I don't do dance floors at a wedding. I will just sit there and, sip my cocktail. And I was like, girl, I'm like, by the end of this, sure enough, like 3 months in, she gets in the chat and she's like, I need to tell you something. And I was like, what? She's like, I was at a wedding and I was the first one on the dance floor. And she goes, it
Oh
didn't
my
even occur to
god.
me, Nicole. She goes, I just started getting out there doing what we always do at the end of class. And I was like, my work here is done. I can
Oh
retire now.
my
I was like,
god.
that is the thing.
Mhm.
That is the thing. That's the embodiment of like joy and aliveness, and you not abandoning yourself in a public place when you have the
Mhm.
opportunity to just feel good, you know?
Mhm.
Oh, that's so exciting.
It's like it sounds like you like create the container for people to like get a dose of like what does it feel like to like be free. So then it's
Yeah.
like go out there, go free from the nest, go live it in the world.
Yes. It's truly that. That's truly it. Like there's
Mhm.
just, oh, I think this also kind of goes back to me being raised in the South. I never quite fit in the South because I didn't want to play by the rules of, how do I say this? There's a little bit of Southern etiquette that I'm lacking. I don't know if you noticed that.
Well, I don't
Um,
live in the South, so I probably don't know as much.
there's like a level of etiquette that exists in Southern culture, which is beautiful and it's awesome, but it never really resonated with me. I always wanted to be wild and free and kind of just a hair off.
Mhm.
And I think whether you're in the South or wherever you are, it's not malintentioned. It's just the way we were raised. It was the households we were in. It was the way our parents were raised. It was like, you
Mhm.
need to conform and you need to comply and you need to maybe not stand out too much. Like, I like that you're confident, but not too much confidence. And it gets so convoluted. And then really, if you think about it, it becomes like a base current that you carry your whole life, unless you
Mhm.
question it.
Yeah.
Unless you say, wait a minute, am I doing this performative good girl routine for my great grandma? Or am
Mm.
I doing it because I want to be a performative good girl? Maybe that is the reason. And
Mhm.
there's no judgment there. It's just like, take a
Yeah.
second to ask yourself why,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
That's all.
So if somebody listening is like, I feel like I've abandoned myself, like who am I in all of these roles and hats that I'm wearing?
Yeah.
What are steps that they can take to come back to themselves, whether movement, community, whatever that may look like?
Yeah. I love all the steps. I think the first step is to get still, plant your feet to the ground, close your eyes, and then I want you to bring to mind the version of you that you are most proud of.
Mhm.
And that might be from 4 weeks ago. That might be when you were 22 and you were taking the internship and you were feeling confident and inspired and curious. That version of you, whatever was going on at that time, and if you can get really granular with it and pinpoint what it was it this community you were around? Was it the culture? Were you living in Italy? Was it um, you being a caretaker to people in need? Whatever that was that made you
Mhm.
feel most alive and most on purpose
Mhm.
is what I want you to recreate. And you can do it in small doses. Maybe it's like, okay, if it's being of service, maybe you're going to go do Meals on Wheels for 1 day a week, once a
Mhm.
month.
Yep.
It's just being able to start to slowly implement whatever it was that made you feel alive.
It's like microdosing aliveness to be
Huh?
back in full aliveness.
Microdosing aliveness. I'm writing that down. Well, that's great.
Well,
You might
it
see
sounds
that in
like
some of my branding coming up. I'll give you credit.
there you go.
Oh, shoot.
I love it so much. Um, and something that I mean, motility is huge in the work that you do, and you talk about how aging is not synonymous with weakness. Like,
Yeah.
what does that mean?
Yeah. I have a real, and this is the dancer in me. I have a real hang up with people assuming that because you age, my least favorite statement is, well, that's what happens when you get older, or this is what
Mm,
happens when you hit mid 40 or blah, blah, blah. I literally I want to throat punch people when they say that.
uh-huh,
You cannot, you could, I suppose you could. It's been done in the past. You can absolutely chalk up the next chapter of your life to because I'm aging
mhm,
and my body breaks down, or you just make different choices.
yeah,
You literally make different choices.
mhm, yeah,
Hydrate, check your sleep, check your freaking community, check the people that you're around,
mhm,
set up an alarm on your phone, get up and walk around, sign up for my workouts, do something for the love of God that's going to that's going to fill the cup of agelessness versus
mhm,
drain it.
mhm,
And
mhm,
I don't feel at this time 2026 to be alive at this time, what a privilege, what a gift. You have access and information all around. It could not be easier. It's never been easier, really,
mhm, yeah.
to not age poorly.
And mindset is like a huge component of that. If you
Huge.
when people come to you and they're like, "My body is breaking down on me. I don't know what to do." Like, how do you both support them in like they might be having like a spine or back issue and also shift their mindset? Because I feel like you are also very different in your approach in the best way of integrating movement and mindset and motility in everything that you do.
Yeah. Um, I have a saying that I repeat a lot in my classes, but I say you keep what you repeat.
Mm. Mhm.
So if you would like to keep your aging, frail body and your bad news bears attitude, you just keep repeating it.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
get to keep it. And that to me, I feel so deeply that it doesn't need to be complicated. We don't have to love the workouts. We don't have to love eating a vegetable with every meal. But at the end of the day, if you let your feelings make the decisions for you, you're
Mhm.
letting your feelings make the decisions for you. Your feelings are changing. They're transient, right?
Mhm.
They're a snapshot. They're a signal of the now moment, but they are not the end all be all.
Mhm.
And if you don't want to repeat what's going on, the language in the brain, the way you feel in the body, you've got to change something.
Yeah. And it sounds like there's both motility of movement that you teach, but also of emotions moving through you too. But what do you mean by motility?
Um, uh, you can't, oh, you can. Again, you can. You can do whatever you want. It's a free country, mostly. I would rather be in the would rather be in the discomfort of making an abrupt change. And it doesn't take a back injury, although if you've ever been bedridden from a back injury, you can sit there and watch the world go on around you. Or if you've lost the love of your life and you can watch the world go around you. Or if you've had to close a business because you're getting divorced and you are trying to raise a newborn by yourself, you can watch the world go around you and
Mhm.
create this pity party for yourself. And it can be so great. It can be like a
Mhm.
Kardashian style pity party if you want. Like you can go there, all white balloons, live in it. Or you just start moving things. And it could just be a walk. It could just be a conversation. It could be saying the subtext out loud. It could be having a dance party in your room. That level of motility, the ability to move past something, it's not as serious as we make it out to be. It's just one small little decision and it
Mhm.
becomes compounded. It's like James Clear and the
Mhm.
Atomic Habits. The best thing out of that book was 1% improvement a day. That's all
Mhm.
you have to do is make 1% improvement.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
all we can do is take one right next step at a time.
Yes. The
'Cause
next
if
right step.
mhm.
I
'Cause
love
if you're
that one. Next.
stagnant,
Yep.
then there's no motility happening. I mean,
Exactly.
there's the time for both. What is that stillness that you need to create, but also what is the motility of that aligned action?
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
And stillness, I like that you bring that up too, because I think for someone like me, maybe someone like a listener to this podcast who loves the energy, who loves the excitement, getting still was the most transformative thing I ever did for myself. And I didn't touch on this, but
Mhm.
during my divorce, I got divorced and my child was 1 year old, and I had my hustle and flow studio. So I had to close a business, into marriage, and then figure out how to care for a newborn. And in that time, I started meditating 20
Mhm.
minutes a day.
Mhm.
And the only peace I had in my life was in that meditation. And over and beyond that,
Yeah.
all the clarity I had to take my next right step came from those meditations. I
Mhm.
never would have heard the voice. I never would have had the clarity or the wisdom if I had not
Mhm.
gotten still for 20 minutes a day during that time.
I have, like, full body chills.
Mm,
It's like
yeah.
I mean, I can relate too in a way because I feel like I'm somebody who I'm like, people might think, "Oh, you're an Energizer bunny. You just like go, go, go." And I'm like, I need to like create more time and stillness and even like crave having that. And
Yeah.
it can be so hard sometimes because it's like I'm just not doing anything. But it's like what I'm actually doing is like taking that time for like the inner work and actually because I feel like there's like we pray, but then we also like meditate of like how can we listen?
Yeah.
And I feel like breath work is one of the most powerful
Oh,
like means for me to do that because it just feels like such an open channel to be like I am here like fully purely as I am like I'm always like God, what do you want me to know?
yeah.
And I don't know, it's just that full mind body connection and somatic release
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We are a channel. That goes back to the body being so miraculous and special, and it's not just here to go right foot, left foot. You are a portal for
Mhm.
communication. So
Mhm.
whether you're stuck and you need the motility, or whether you're stuck and you need to build strength, or whether you're stuck because you don't know how to close a business and get divorced and raise a newborn, the stillness, the wisdom there is innate, and then it's also divine. It's like
Mhm.
once you anchor down and open that portal to get the downloads, game over, man. Or game on, I guess, really game on, not game over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like one of the most, like, overlooked motility habits could actually be stillness.
Yeah. That's why my business is called Sweat and Stillness, because you
Mhm.
have to include both. It's a both and situation.
Mhm. Are there
Yeah.
any other, like, overlooked motility habits in, like, life or
Mm.
workouts you wish more people knew of or did?
Ooh, that's a great question. Well, it's always going to come back to CARS for me.
Mhm.
CARS stands for controlled articular rotations. It's what I teach throughout all of my classes, no matter the modality. But it's just allowing the joints to move the way they were biologically and physiologically designed to move. So you're bringing
Mhm.
blood flow into a joint capsule, which is information, lubrication, reduces inflammation, um, creates proprioception. Where's my body in space? How does this hip really feel? Uh,
Mhm.
that to me is overlooked, because when I'm watching this content, God, this scary content on Instagram or TikTok, and I'm like, please, God, grown women, please don't attempt to do what this person is doing in these cute booty shorts. Please, God, stop. Like, take a look at your joint health. Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's see what works. Let's build a foundation so that we can age well with less inflammation. And then we can move intelligently so that you can't build a sculpture on quicksand.
Mhm.
It's impossible. So you got
Mhm.
to address the foundation, which is why I love cars. It's always looking at the foundation of you, the
Mhm.
mechanics of you. It just makes
Mhm.
you a better version of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how does nutrition play a role in everything that you do? Because,
Oh.
we can't out supplement or out move what we're eating too.
I wish we could, but no, you're absolutely right. Nutrition isn't my wheelhouse per se, but I'm pretty, I would say, dedicated to protein,
Mhm.
super dedicated to my protein. I'm super dedicated to just a balance because I don't believe, even if you got into the strongest, most shredded shape of your life, you're super jacked
Yep.
and tan. I'm just kidding. Whatever.
Southern
The,
California, you know.
you know what I mean? If you got into the best shape of your life, not only is it not sustainable long term, but there's a lack of joy there. So I'm always
Uh-huh.
looking for the middle ground. Like I eat healthy and then I love my mezcal margaritas.
Mhm.
And I eat healthy and then every now and then I'm going to make a s'more and I'm going to eat it with my kid for sure. And maybe
Mhm.
probably the marshmallows out of the bag.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. There's got to be like a happy medium. Life is just too short for that.
Mhm.
But you got to make sure too that you're feeding your body well because if you want it to age well, perform better, be ready for sleep when it's time to sleep,
Mhm.
you have to consider what's going in it.
Mhm. Are there any, like, common things with people that you work with where you're like, "How do you not realize that that is actually sabotaging your energy?"
Oh my God. It's the lack of eating that really freaks me out. And
Mm.
I was that girl because I grew up again in the 90s.
Yep.
Everyone was on coke and it was very cool to have a flat ass. I remember specifically, I'm like, well, if I don't eat and or I'll just eat these fat-free Snackwell cookies. You don't know anything about that. There was a
I
whole
do.
You do?
Yep, too well.
I just lived on Snackwell cookies for like a good 3 years. I'm pretty sure I
Oh
did.
my god. Slim
Sorry,
Fast 100-calorie snack packs.
what? I mean, listen, we're gonna look back at this conversation and be like, remember when we thought protein was amazing? Who knows? Anything's possible. Everything moves in trends. And as of right now, I hate to see women not eating enough. That's the
Mhm.
problem, especially if you're training.
Yeah.
You can't
Mhm.
starve your way into a healthy body. That will never work.
So how do
You
we
have
eat around training? There are a lot of I feel like there are multiple trains of thought.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think that depends on each person. Like, I'm a super fan of my blood work. I get my blood work done 3 or 4 times a year. I know that my cortisol, most women's cortisol is high in the morning,
Yeah.
folks in general, but specifically women. So starting with like going right into coffee is not the wisest choice. I usually start with water, lemon, and sea salt, and I down
Mhm.
that first, and then I'll have I do half decaf, half caffeinated. Is that right? Yeah, half
Yeah.
decaf, half calf
Half,
coffee.
yeah.
Mhm. And I start with that. So I ease my body into that caffeine, but then I immediately train, which I mean, I wake up, have that, train my body, and then go into an immediately big breakfast,
Mhm.
protein specific, more fat as well. And that to me is a sound way to train my body. It works. Some folks have to wake up right away, have their protein, have their food, and that's fine. I think that's important. You got to recognize that. Again, this isn't my wheelhouse specifically. Like I don't
Yeah.
specialize in the nutrition, but I do know that you need to know what works for you. And just
Mhm.
following blindly, some fitness influencer gives me the shivers.
Mhm. What does, like, personally for you, like, in this day and age, what does a day in a life look like for you in terms of, like, when it comes to integrating motility and even dance?
Yeah. Hmm. I do this every day. So not only am I teaching it and doing it while I'm teaching, there's a lot of play in my life. Like I
Mhm.
do cars everywhere. I do them in grocery store. I do them at my son's basketball game. I'm always doing weird cars all day long, nonstop. On top of that, I take dance class. Like I have an adult dance class with my girlfriends who are all a bunch of ex-retired dancers
Oh
and we
my god,
love it.
so
We live
fun.
for that. Yeah, it's just play.
Mhm.
Um, I also just I'm never shying away from kids because kids will freely dance in public and I will join them in a hot second.
Mhm.
Because I'll never forget. I was at one of Bo's football games and there were little cheerleaders there. and I did a handstand cartwheel into the splits, and this one girl's, I swear to God, her brain exploded right in front of me. She's like,
Oh my God.
how can you be a mom and do that? And I was like, oh, sister. I was like, I can do so much more than this. It was like she had never seen it. And my heart broke a little bit. I was like, gosh, adults forget to play. They abandon themselves for whatever. We don't allow ourselves to get free.
Yeah.
And you keep what you repeat. So if you continuously sit down and put yourself last and, make an excuse, then you repeat that over and over, and you're keeping it for the duration. So I was like, I don't do that. What I keep is a lot of crazy repetitive motion, a lot of play. And I'm grateful for it.
More play and fun in life. That's
always.
Don't we all need more fun and play in life?
Yeah. Look around. We're starved for it. It's bad.
Well, even you've talked about like community is also so powerful to like support you to rise. Like what does that look like in your life?
Oh, I have an amazing family. I'm super tight with my family. My friend circle is highly curated at this point. Like I mentioned, I'm 47. The majority of my good girlfriends I've known for probably 20 years. We make an effort to see each other multiple times a month. So the community aspect is there. I must have 3 different group text threads of baddie women, some of which we don't even live in the same state, but we talk every day. And
I love that.
Yeah. And they're all entrepreneurs. They're all women that are kind of going through it. We're at completely different stages in our life. One has small kids. One is older and in a different kind of relationship, older children. But we make it work because, like I said, female wisdom, when it's embodied, it's gold. It's freedom in itself. Like that conversation that I would have with them later today will be nourishment for my soul. It'll be information that helps my business, but also helps me take my next right step in parenting and dating and all the things that are going on now. So it's like, community is everything. You can't skimp on that. And if you don't have a community, you need to sit with yourself, figure out what it is that makes you come alive, go do that thing and build a community around that.
I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. Community is
I
so
know.
important.
Look what you're a community starter. Look at you. See? That's not new.
As we wrap up this conversation, what is one reminder you want listeners to carry with them coming out of this conversation today?
This is another one of my favorite quotes, which is, be real, not perfect. For the love of God, set perfect down. It's not interesting. It is a trap. It keeps you likely in a pain cycle of some sort. And at the end of the day, you don't know how much time you have. It is a gift you are here. It is a gift we had this time together, this hour or whatever we're on right now. My God, go out there and celebrate it. Do the things you love. Remember who you are. Don't abandon yourself. Come be my friend. I'll help you. I will literally hold your hand and we'll do it together.
Well, in that vein, where can everyone connect with you, work with you, join your community?
Thank you. Sweatandstillness.com is my on-demand platform. I have live and recorded content there. All of my monthly groups are offered there. Information about my retreat is there. I'm on Instagram, Nicole Sciacca. Nicole, Sciacca. Thanks to the Sicilian ancestors for that last name. And then I'm also on TikTok at the Nicole Sciacca. I have quite a large following there. And that was mostly driven from mobility content over the last few years. So that's a super fun place too if you have TikTok. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. This was so fun and an enlightening conversation, as always.
God bless you. I appreciate that. Thank you for giving me the time and for being so inquisitive and supportive.
Of course. Thank you.
Friend.
Thank you for tuning in to the We Shine Well podcast. If today's conversation lit something up in you, I'd love for you to share it with a friend, leave us a review, and dive deeper each week by subscribing to our Substack in the show notes to interact with guests and discover more resources to expand you. Until next time. Keep trusting your right next step and keep shining, my friend.